So in this video, we're going to solve radical equations in the given formula. So the first one, the Schwarz radius formula for the black hole. So the Schwarzschild formula, this is R equals 2 times Gm over c squared, where G is the gravitational constant, M is the object mass in kilograms, and C happens to be the speed of light in meters per second. Okay, so given all that, there's a formula for the radius of that black hole. Now, in this problem, I want to solve for C. Okay, the speed of light here. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, I need to get C by itself. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by C squared. Okay. I multiply both sides of the equation by c squared. I get c squared times r equals 2gm. Now, I want to get c by itself, so what's holding me up? The r, so the inverse of multiplying is division, so I'm going to divide by r on both sides. So I have c squared equals 2gm r. Now, to get the c by itself, I take the square root. When I take the square root, I get a plus and a minus. So C is equal to plus minus square root 2gm over r, speed of light. Okay? The next one is total mechanical energy of an object with mass m and height h with velocity v. So mechanical energy is represented by me. So that's just one thing. And that's 1/2. So 1/2 mv squared plus mgh. Now I want to solve for v. Solve for v. So the first thing I'm going to do is circle my v. Now how can I get it by itself? First thing, I'm going to move this mgh. Move the mgh on both sides. I get me minus mgh equals 1/2 mv squared. Okay? Now, to get rid of a half, I can multiply both sides by 2. If I multiply both sides by 2, so everything gets multiplied by 2, then the 1/2s cancel each other. So I get 2 times me minus mgh equals mv squared. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by m. Now this little m is not the same as that capital M. That capital ME is mechanical energy, so those don't cancel, all right? So don't get any ideas. So I get 2 parentheses ME minus MGH all over M equals V squared. To get v by itself, I take the square root, and so I do the plus minus on both sides. So this is my new v. Okay? All right. Say we have a formula. So T is equal to 2 pi square root L divided by G. And I want to solve for G. Okay? So first thing I do is I circle my G. All right? So what's holding it together? There's multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'll divide both sides by 2 pi. So T over 2 pi equals the square root of L divided by G. Now to get rid of the square root, I'm going to square both sides to get rid of the square root. So what do I get? I get t squared over, now squaring 2 gets me 4. Squaring pi gets me pi squared. Okay. And then when I square that, I get L over G. Okay. Now I want to get G by itself. All right. Get G by itself. To do this, I've got a fraction equal to another fraction. Okay, the easiest way to do this, and I know, I'm probably going to get kicked in the face for doing this, but this is, you go back to your high school days, this is cross multiply, right? So if you cross multiply, butterfly method, whatever you want to call it, when you cross multiply, t squared times g, okay, is equal to L times 4 pi squared, right? Okay, now I'm trying to get g by itself, so I divide by t squared on both sides. So g is equal to L times 4 pi squared over t squared. Okay? All right. Maybe one more practice just for good measure. So just to sum it up, if you can do this problem, man, you got it going on. X minus 4 to the 2/3 equals 3x minus 14 to the 1/3. Okay, when I look at this, the first thing I want to do is I want to convert this to radical notation. So the rider goes in the house and the horsey goes outside. So the rider in the house, the rider is the 2, and the horsey outside is the 3. And the cube root, and this is 3x minus 14 raised to the 1, okay, 1/3. So it's index is 3 for both of those. How do I get rid of the cube root? I cube both sides. Cube both sides gets me x minus 4 all squared equals 3x minus 14. Okay, if I square this, I get, well, let's see, x minus 4 times x minus 4. That's x squared. That's minus 4x. That's minus 4x again. And then that's plus 16 equals 3x minus 14. Collect like terms, that's minus 8x for that middle piece. So I have x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 3x minus 14. I want to get all my x's to one side, so move all my x's over, have it set equal to 0. When I do this, I get x squared minus 11x plus 30 equals 0. And now factor trinomial t-chart, multiply to 30, add to negative 11. 3 times 10. Golly, if I made both of those negative, that would be positive, but this would be negative 13. That doesn't work. Let's see here. 5 and 6. Negative 6 and negative 5. That's negative 11. Good. Okay, so negative 11. So 5 and 6 work here. All right, so I have x squared minus 5x minus 6x plus 30 equal to 0. Factor by grouping. Group the first two, group the second two. Make sure there's a plus in the middle. I promise you, if you don't know how to factor, that's a bad thing for this class. Sounds like I need some water. All right, so factor an x out. X minus 5. Okay, see I need an x minus 5 here, so I'm going to factor this negative 6 out. X minus 5 there. So x minus 5 comes out of both of those terms, and what do we have left? X minus 6. Set HP is equal to 0. And so x equals 5, or x equals 6. And that's it. All you got to do is check at this point. Spoiler alert. If you throw this back into the original equations, then you get the solution for both of them. Okay, they both work. All right, guys, good luck in your homework.